Locke's friends described him as having a good sense of humor.
He who is as much afraid of doing too little as of doing too much will do nothing at all. Every man has freedom to do all that he wills, provided he infringes not the equal freedom of any other man. The only way to possess oneself of another man's opinion is to become that other man. The reason why men enter into society is the preservation of their property. No man's knowledge here can go beyond his experience. Opinion is the life of society and the soul of conversation. It is not inconstancy, but judgment to change upon just reason.
Locke's ideas greatly influenced the American Revolution and the United States Constitution.
All mankind, being all equal and independent, no one ought to harm another in his life, health, liberty, or possessions. Every man has a property in his own person which nobody has any right to but himself. Where law ends, tyranny begins. The end of law is not to abolish or restrain, but to preserve and enlarge freedom. Every man has a property in his own person. This nobody has any right to but himself. No government can be free without being just, and none can be just without being Republican. Though the will of the majority is in all cases to prevail, that will to be rightful must be reasonable. Reason must be our last judge and guide in everything.
Locke's writings on tolerance and religious freedom are still influential today.
New opinions are always suspected and usually opposed without any other reason but because they are not already common. Though the earth and all inferior creatures be common to all men, yet every man has a property in his own person. This nobody has any right to but himself. Politics is the art of making possible that which is necessary. The desire of power in excess caused the angels to fall. The desire of knowledge in excess caused man to fall. Fathers, do not provoke your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord.
He was known to have a sweet tooth and would often indulge in sugar.
All men by nature are equal, in that equal right that every man hath to his natural freedom, without being subjected to the will or authority of any other man. Those who govern, having power at will to employ all the force they think necessary, will seldom fail to make use of it. The only fence against the world is a thorough knowledge of it. All mankind, being all equal and independent, no one ought to harm another in his life, health, liberty, or possessions. The only way to give justice to every man is to make it the interest of every man to do justice. No power on earth has a right to take away from any man any part of his property without his consent. The only way to possess oneself of another man's opinion is to become that other man. The end of law is not to abolish or restrain, but to preserve and enlarge freedom.
He is known for his theories on natural rights and the social contract.
Law is the need of our nature. Education begins the gentleman, but reading, good company and reflection must finish him. Every man has a property in his own person which none but he has a right to. The labor of his body and the work of his hands, we may say, are properly his. Wherever law ends, tyranny begins. The greatest part of mankind float betwixt vice and virtue. It is one thing to show a man that he is in an error, and another to put him in possession of the truth. The only way to make us love our country is to make our country worth loving.